Hey there guys, and welcome back to Alex Invest. For those of you who don't know, I'm Alex. I'm a business owner with a degree in economics, and today the markets are pretty red, as we can see. Now the streak continues. For the past 3 days we've had mixed to red days, and two stocks that have been doing quite well throughout that is one is BFT. Now I talked about this one yesterday and said that I started a position in this company, and I think we're going to continue to see moves upward even on red market days, right? But the stock that I want to talk to you guys about today is EXRO Technologies again. Now I've done a few videos on this in the past, but I have had quite a few requests to do another one, so here we are again. There is a few developments, like their final short form prospectus, which we'll go over some of that information today. But before we get into it, as always, please like and subscribe, guys. It really helps out the channel. It helps me create more content for you guys. All right, now before we get into the final short form prospectus, I wanted to go through a few things in their marketing materials, their new slideshow, which they uploaded on December 8th. So if you guys look right here, we can see the major milestones is one of the first things I wanted to go through with you guys. We can see Q3, we had the validation of the 48V coil driver, and they signed their 8th deal, right? Makes sense, all good. The Innovation Center in Q4 2020, this is their EXRO Innovation Center, which they are setting up in Calgary, right? And we are seeing exactly that happening right now. This is something that has been in the news and something that they are setting up here. Delivery of their 100V coil driver as well here, and validation of their intelligent battery management system, proof of concept here. Now this is something we haven't seen too much in the news yet. They haven't been talking about it much. They haven't brought out any new information on this really, so I think soon we might see some information on that, because again, that should be happening in Q4 2020, which is right now, right? Q1 2021 as well, they have the Zero motorcycle proof of concept. Now they are working on that already quite heavily and are starting now to put that 100V coil driver into those Zero motorcycles. So that's going to be something to be looking forward to. And as well, Heinzman, I remember I talked about this in my last video, so if you want to know more about that, please check that out. Q2 2021, now again, this is going to be big with their pilot of their intelligent battery management system. Another big thing to look forward to. I've mentioned this in my previous videos, that their intelligent battery management system is going to be very, very big. They're still working on this quite a lot, and I see it being much bigger even than their coil driver. And then of course they say their commercial partnership #1 here, Q3 2021. I'll just go through the main ones here that I think are interesting. C Electric proof of concept, right? This is for their 400V coil driver and their 800V coil driver. They aren't out yet, right? So this is going to be again something to bring their stock price higher as we move forward here, because C Electric basically makes fleets of electric vehicles, which are big class 6 and class 8 vehicles, for example. And again, we see that moving into Q4 2021 as well here. They have their 400V coil driver proof of concept for fleet commercial trucks, which is what I just said, right, basically. And very importantly, their first revenues, right? So this is basically going to be where the stock really starts to pick up, right? I mean, we're obviously going to see gradual upturn until that revenue, but if they hit all of these goals, right, I do see the company moving to $10 to $15 by the time we see these first revenues come in, especially if they have their pilot of their intelligent battery management system come out in Q2 2021. I think that's going to be a big driver of their price increase moving forward. And of course, 2023 now, they move quite far ahead here, but hopefully by then they have positive earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, right? So that would be very big, because finally they would actually have positive earnings on their financial statements. Now I just wanted to go into a few long-term catalysts. First of all, positive EBITDA second half year 2023. We just talked about that, right? But uplist to TSX market from the TSX.V, right? So this is going to be as well a big price mover moving forward. And I see this as well happening within the next, I would say, 2 years. So watch out for that. And again, we're going to see as well uplist to the NASDAQ, right? Which again would make the price rocket up. And then the last two, obviously we just have continued technological innovation in power electronics, which we'll see with their intelligent battery management system as well. We already talked about that. And strategic partnerships. I see a big strategic partnership here as well with C Electric, you know, and those electric fleet of vehicles they're going to do with them. So that is going to be very big as well. All right, so now I just wanted to go through a little bit of the final short form prospectus with you guys. You know, I mean, first of all here, obviously we did get the maximum offering here at $36,500,000. The 11,230,000 common shares were all accounted for already on the first day of this offering, right? So it had already basically closed before it opened, but of course their final short form prospectus doesn't come out until the closing date of the public offering, which of course was on December 8th, 2020. We can see that right here. So now obviously this is a pretty long report at about 25 pages, so we're just going to go over some of the best parts. So here, first of all, use of net proceeds, right? This is very important. So this is what they will be using the capital that they raised on the public offering for, right? And we can see here they did receive the maximum offering, so these will be the numbers that we see moving forward, right? Expenses relating to the offering, we don't really need to go over. Obviously, we're at the high end of that. Research and development, we can see doesn't change from the minimum to maximum offering, which is what we want to see because they know how much money they need here for their research and development, and it's clearly $12,250,000 to achieve what they need to achieve in the next year. I mean, we just went through their timeline, right? And to achieve this timeline with their intelligent battery management system and their 400V coil driver and their 800V coil driver, etc., right? We need that $12,250,000 as research and development. Operations, obviously it doesn't change either, right? They know what they need here, right, guys? Operations, 2.4 million. Marketing and sales, 7.3 million, right? General administrative, 9.3. We don't need to go through many of these numbers here. Working capital, now this is obviously the number that goes up because they obviously receive more cash, which they are now holding as working capital moving forward, right? Making that working capital look better on their balance sheet, of course, right, with the higher assets. So that's good to see. They now have that $10,602,000 there. And of course, the final numbers. But what I really wanted to show you guys there was that research and development, right? And we've talked about the research and development before, but now we can see the actual numbers behind it. Moving on here to this. They first had the micro coil driver, and this came out before their 100V coil driver, their 48V coil driver, right? And their light EVs, that was the 100V coil driver. And obviously the companies that will be using this technology are Motorino. We've talked about Motorino. Potencia, we've talked about Potencia, right? And the vehicles they have in Mexico. And of course, Zero, that's one of their new partners in the e-bike industry as well. So that will be good moving forward. And that's motorcycles, right? E-motorcycles here that I'm talking about. And their budget for that is 2.5 million. Medium EVs, now this is going to be their next big development, right? With, of course, their intelligent battery management system, which we can see right here. And that is actually the highest amount of budget allocated to that, which is what we want to see, right? Because as I've said, I'm a huge believer in this intelligent battery management system, and I think it's going to be a massive driver of their stock moving forward, and it's going to be that big next step there, right? And then this actually comes July 2021, they have that for that date, right? And their medium EVs, which is their 400 volt coil driver, that will be coming out in December 21. So after the IBMS, which we've already seen in the timeline, that's sort of the timeline that they have, right? And C Electric, that's going to be a big partner of theirs as well. I mean, these guys are huge. You know, they have a market cap of $94 billion. You know, their price is at $192. So again, we see the budget allocation of 2.7 million there. Heavy EVs, again, this is for the even bigger class of vehicles, again, those class 8s and stuff, right? And again, we see C Electric is their main partner there for that as of now. Again, it's their development of their 800V coil driver, December 2021 as well. And again, they're allocating 3 million to that. So we can again kind of just see a rundown of their research and development costs specifically here and where they're going to use that money that they have set up for research and development 4. And now let's just talk about their 100V coil driver here again for just a minute with regard to their 400 and their 800V coil driver, because they use the same platform. So that means since they now have the 100V coil driver ready to go for electric vehicles, we're not far off of achieving that 400V and that 800V coil driver because of that use of the same platform. You know, they really just need to now advance it and make it into a bigger model. But other than that, it's essentially the same as the 100V coil driver. So that's why we're seeing the 400V and the 800V happen quickly now, because the concept is already proven in their 100V coil driver technology. All right, so now there isn't too much other interesting stuff in this report. I did want to point out this right here. Our technology may be unable to achieve broad market acceptance and consequently limit our ability to generate revenues and profits from new products, right? And they're basically just saying here that, of course, their revenue and profits depend on the customers and the end users picking up their products and actually using them in their electric vehicles and in their technology, right? So it's important that they have awareness of it. And that's obviously why we see their marketing staying up there at 7.3 million after this public share offering. But that being said, I do think that with such a good product like theirs that clearly works, once there's an adoption of the technology in one EV, and I've said this before, there will be an adoption in all the EV companies because they will have to do it to keep up. And then the final note here is dilution. You know, EXRO says currently they have no revenue and they may still have to raise additional capital moving forward, which is fair. I mean, we might see our shares as shareholders get diluted a little bit more, but we will also see a run up in the price in the meantime. So it's up to you if you want to get in now or later on when they have revenues and they won't be doing any more capital raising. But I do think you're going to see much more profits if you do invest in this company now and get those high percentages. And once they hit revenue, obviously you just see the stock price soar. Watch out for that and watch out for additional dilution in your shares. We might see it, but again, it doesn't worry me at all. All right, now the final thing I wanted to mention before we get into the stock chart here is that EXRO Technologies was just at the 2020 CTI Symposium in Germany, right? And this went on from December 8th to 9th. So it was a 2-day event, basically just about developments in the automotive transmissions and drives industry, right? And EXRO was part of that. And that is why we saw some of that run up on December 7th to 8th, right? Because there was new investors seeing this technology and moving in there. All right, guys. So now I just wanted to show you guys the chart really quickly here. I have not changed these trend lines since my previous videos. These are the exact same trend lines. I've been leaving them here, and I've said in my previous videos we were either going to see a blow off top and then some consolidation or just some consolidation. And of course volume has been coming down a little bit here, right? And so we see the consolidation, a little bit of rocky road, right? Same as we saw back here. We saw the big run and then some rocky road, some consolidation. We actually hit the bottom of the trend line here, right? Came up again, more consolidation, and then we hit it and boom, huge spike up, right? And we're gonna see that again here. You know, I extended this trend line for you guys. We're gonna hit it somewhere around this point here, maybe down here, maybe a little higher, but either way, once we do hit it, I think we're gonna see another big run just like we saw right here. So watch out for that. And when we see that, of course, volume is gonna come back here. Big massive volume, right? And the stock price will obviously rocket up again. So watch out for that. If you're looking for a spot to get in, again, right now we're on some downward momentum, so we could continue to see this back down to here. I don't think we're going to go below this. This seems like pretty strong resistance right here around the $3.9 to $4 range, right? So if you want to pick up some shares, I recommend you do it around there if you even can, right? Other than that, again, consolidation for a little bit longer here and then boom, spike up. So that's just all I wanted to show you guys there. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the video today. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I didn't give you guys a video yesterday, so I felt I needed to. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And as always, leave me a comment. And other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.